Today we're on Shang-Chi again. This is the box office first one update for Shang-Chi. I said this movie will flop, but apparently it might not actually flop. We don't know I gotta look up the budget first. So first I gotta look up the budget, how much it needs to make back. Back. Usually lists the budget on Wikipedia. They do not have the budget yet because they usually list it on Wikipedia. So Shang-Chi does not have an official budget, but it could be in the range of 140 to 150 million dollars. So if Shang-Chi makes 280 million dollars to 300 million, it will make money. Yeah, okay. That's the reported range for right now. And Shang-Chi is projected to fall by 45. That's an old one. We're gonna talk about the new, updated Shang-Chi. Yeah, 45 million, 55 million is still pretty good for Labor Day weekend. But we have the official new numbers. It rings. Oh my god, that's a horrible pun. Rings of 8.8 million in Thursday previews. This is out beating Fast 9 and A Quiet Place Part 2. Okay. And this is again Labor Day weekend, of course. But it is less than Black Widow's 14.2 million, making overall part for previews during COVID. With most likely Black Widows is, hardcore, diehard fans going to see the movie, obviously. Yeah. 90% are looking forward to the movie and see the movie read by Asian and Asian American cast. But we all know why they want to make this movie, because the freaking, they want to make money in China. Yeah, but where Disney programming movie over the weekend, the store sees August enter the summer box office. Then the philosophy that Marvel movie can open anywhere on the calendar. Warner Bros. Has great riches with horror movies opening like It's After 2, It, and The Nun. And have James Wan Maleficent opening next weekend and streaming service HBO Max, which will likely make money. And it will definitely beat Tenet, which opened to 11.6 million over 4 days. Obviously, this is again a 4-day weekend, so people are like, oh yeah, things he opened to 40 million, it's doing horribly, but again, it's a 4-day weekend. Dumbasses, it's a 4-day fucking weekend. Same thing with Quiet Place. Again, Quiet Place opened to $55 million over a 4-day weekend. It's a 4-day weekend, not a 3-day weekend. Of course. Being, of course, the 30.6 million of... There, the total global launch is estimated towards 90 to 100 million, basically. And the movie has a reported budget of 140 million. So if it makes $300 million, that should be in the clear. Basically. And it's beating F9. And it opened 70 million. F9 opened 70 million. Yeah. And it went ahead of F9 and Quiet Place Part 2. And again, you have these people like, oh, we're going to open to 50 million because Black Widow had 14 million. Just shut up, idiots. Just shut up for one day, okay? You have the fan, the fan of S is going to be angry at this no matter what. They're going to see how could this movie be making money because, blah, 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 blah. I was saying that it was going to flop because it might have been a $200 million budget like Black Widow. And Disney is relying on this movie to make money in China and doesn't even have a release there. And same thing with Black Widow, didn't release in China. Black Widow had Disney Plus's help to make its money, basically. As a thousand. You don't use Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is bought and paid for. You should know this already. Rotten Tomatoes is bought and paid for by Disney. Okay? Notice that every Disney movie has magically good reviews on it. Okay? Magically good reviews. A much more trustworthy one would be IMDb or even Letterboxd or Metacritic, because Rotten Tomatoes will protect anything made by Disney. Okay? Whereas on IMDb, saying she has an 8.1. So apparently people do like this movie. People who like kung fu movies, Dragon Ball, martial arts types movies are going to watch this movie. There are a lot of fans of those types of movies out there. You know, if it was Suicide Squad, you said the pandemic was an excuse, but it's different with Disney. Okay, okay. Black Girls go back by box office and saying because they made 60 million on Disney Plus. These execs are solid idiots. Stay and date. This is as a streaming sale. This guy's a sale for streaming. Okay, you need to eventually stop relying on day-to-day streaming. You have to eventually release your movies in the theaters and make your bank in the theaters, then make it in streaming, then put it on your streaming service. Okay, you need to. There are a lot of people who will now refuse to watch movies in theaters and only watch movies on streaming service because of the day-to-day streaming. They need to really stop, the day-to-day streaming stuff. It's completely bullshit, completely stupid, and yeah, I don't want to have many plans to see Shang-Chi, but again, I'm not a person who watches movies in theaters anyways, okay? But if you really want the theatrical market to recover, they need to stop this day and date streaming. Black Widow, yes, Black Widow made $140 million on Disney Plus. It was $60 million on Disney Plus on its first day, on its first weekend, but it also made $140 million total, according to Sampa TV. I figured it was $125 million, but it's still $140 million made because it likely made a couple million more dollars since then. And Black Widow and also was made $500 million on there. And also there wasn't really much competition for Shang-Chi. They put Venom, there's Maleficent, which is, Warner Bros. Horror movie, and it'll probably perform relatively well because it's a horror movie. It'll likely make back its money because it is a horror movie. But other than that, there's like no movies this month other than Shang-Chi and Maleficent. And Maleficent will probably be number 2 to Shang-Chi. Wouldn't be surprised if it is, or overperforms and beats Shang-Chi. But other than that, I can't wait to see the Phantom Menace's reaction to this. This is super funny that this movie is actually overperforming. It seems that Marvel isn't dead just yet. It seems that the real test is gonna be the Eternals, because a lot of people don't like the Eternals. Shang-Chi, this to me looks like another Dragon Ball Z. A lot of people like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Jackie Chan, Jet Li. You could bring in a lot of those people. A lot of people who like those movies. You also have the already established Marvel fanboys fan base, already as well. And all the critics. I don't really trust the critics anymore. Rotten Tomatoes especially. If you trust Rotten Tomatoes audience score, you must be like absolutely like crazy. Okay, then we have weekend forecast, Box Office Mojo, 8.8 million, and for the previews. No, I don't want to look at the Shang-Chi poster. I'll look at the weekend box office. It feels like a paid site. Hope it isn't, but eventually going to have to abandon streaming services. Day-to-day streaming. Of course, streaming services are never going to go away, but you have to abandon the day-to-day streaming, and they have domestic total range 120 to 130 million, like Black Widow. Is going to perform similar to Black Widow. Again, Black Widow had Disney Plus numbers, and Black Widow is a smaller movie, there were people who were probably turned off by, the fandom medicine smears about the movie and the fact that they're making a movie about a dead character as well. And this is the projected weekend, 52 million. This is the 3-day weekend. Again, this is a 4-day weekend for those dumbasses who still think it's going to be, who say, oh, it's going to open 50 million, that means we're right, it's going to perform Ant-Man numbers. It's a 4-day weekend, Same thing with Quiet Place. Oh, Quiet Place is underperforming. Well, it opened. It's a 4-day weekend. Quiet Place opened to 57 million. Sock opened to 70 million. Its first weekend. People were where did it go 70 million? It goes 62 million. No, it goes 70 million over including the 4-day weekend. Okay. And Suicide Squad. No one's watching that. Suicide Squad is a testament of why you sort of make a sequel to a movie that people didn't like. I think it's just a testament If people don't like a movie, don't make a sequel to it. Okay, but it seems that Hollywood continues not to learn the lesson with the Suicide Game. Yeah, people who watched the movie liked it, but most people were like, oh yeah, Birds of Prey sucked and Suicide Squad sucked. The first one. Why would I want to see this movie? Who asked for another Suicide Squad movie? And that's why Suicide Squad is, flopping. Basically, it's losing money, and punches up 8.8 million. Basically, yeah, this movie is expected to overperform at the box office. I haven't really done box office predictions, but I predicted like Shang-Chi will open to like 50 million. But my overperform, which is good for the box office, I said Black Widow would only open to 70 million. I actually did say Black Widow like many times would open to 70 million and at like 150 million, but it actually overperformed my predictions on Black Widow. And again, difference of Shang-Chi and Black Widow is Black Widow opened with Disney Plus. Shang-Chi did not open with Disney Plus, okay? And it's being out movies like Ant-Man, okay? And it's doing similar to Doctor Strange, so it's opened with 85 million. Doctor Strange opened to 85 million. But we're going to have to really see how it does later on, okay? But it seems that the Shang-Chi is overperforming, which is good for Disney because they might actually have a win for once. Which is just hilarious. Disney might actually have a win for once. After the losses called Jungle Cruise, Black Widow is a supposed loss. Only the Phantom Menace thinks it is, but it really isn't. But, Cruella, Raya, Soul, Mulan, Onward, all losses for Disney. Okay, Luca, everybody forgot about it really quickly. That's basically a loss. They didn't even release it in theaters. They just threw it on Disney Plus and made so everybody forget about Luca, essentially. That's essentially it about Luca. They just threw it on Disney Plus and hoped everybody would forget that they made that movie. But, yep, that's basically it about this video. Goodbye.